I believe my boyfriend is starting to resent me, and I think it has a lot to do with my job. My boyfriend and I are both 24, and we've been dating for almost 2 years. For context, I've been working as a bartender and shift leader at a local bar for about 3 years now. It's not a forever job, but it's great money while I'm trying to pay my way through school, and it's not easy to find a job that pays as well without my degree. Although I enjoy the people I work with and the bar itself, being in this position comes with a lot of unwanted attention, especially from men. I'd say I'm a conventionally attractive woman, and because of that, I get approached more than I'd like. It's uncomfortable, and definitely not ideal, but I'm very vocal about the fact that I'm in a relationship and would never cross a line. I love my boyfriend deeply and value our relationship above everything else. One of the challenges of working in this bar is that we live in a small town, which means I frequently see people I'd rather avoid. It's not uncommon for my exes, old friends, and people from my past to show up there. These are people I used to associate with when I was younger and making bad decisions. My past isn't the cleanest, and I've had to distance myself from a lot of those people, but some still come into the bar regularly. I think this, combined with the nature of my job, makes my boyfriend very uncomfortable. He never visits me at work, rarely asks me about how things are going there, and when I do bring it up, he's dismissive. It's pretty obvious that he's not a fan of the fact that I still work there. I've been trying to find another job, even if it means taking a pay cut, but without my degree, it's almost impossible to find something that pays as well. I've applied to countless positions, but nothing has come through so far. I don't want to work at the bar forever, but right now, it's what's helping me pay for school and keep my head above water financially. Earlier today, I had the day off, but I needed to stop by the bar to pick up some money I'd accidentally left behind the night before. When I got there, a couple of my coworkers were having drinks, and we started chatting. They mentioned that a group of people I know were sitting on the other side of the bar having dinner and suggested I go say hi. The group included a few more of my coworkers, my ex-best friend, who I had to distance myself from because of her lifestyle choices, lots of drinking, bad decisions, etc., her brother, her uncle, and her cousin, who I had a history with years ago. There were also 2 of my high school friends. I know these people pretty well, and I see them frequently because they either work with me or are regulars at the bar. Despite some of their past behavior, they're harmless in my eyes. I ended up sitting with them for about 45 minutes to an hour, just chatting and catching up. This was in the middle of the day, and I didn't think much of it. When I got home, I texted my boyfriend to see what he was up to since I hadn't heard from him all day. His response caught me off guard. He immediately asked if I had gone to the bar and hung out with a bunch of weirdos. I was planning on telling him about it when we talked, but he beat me to it, which made it feel like I was hiding something, even though I wasn't. I explained the situation to him, but he was obviously upset. He went on about how every guy at that table would sleep with me if given the chance, and how he didn't understand why I would spend time with them in the first place. I didn't see it as a big deal because I know these people and I see them all the time at work. To me, it was just a casual conversation during the day, and I didn't think there was anything to hide. But to him, it seems like spending time with people from my past, especially those I've had history with, crosses a line. I can understand why he might feel insecure or uncomfortable, but his reaction really hurt. It feels like he doesn't trust me or respect my judgment, and that's difficult to deal with. I wish he could see things from my perspective. These are people I work with or see regularly, and avoiding them altogether would be nearly impossible. But I also understand that seeing me around people who know my past, or who have feelings for me, makes him feel uneasy. This situation has brought up a lot of tension in our relationship, and it's becoming harder to ignore. I want to make him feel secure and reassure him that I would never do anything to jeopardize our relationship, but at the same time, I feel like my job and my past are creating a barrier between us. I don't know how to balance his feelings with the reality of my situation, and I'm worried that if things continue like this, it could damage our relationship even more. I've been feeling really confused and anxious about the state of my relationship. The other day, my boyfriend accused me of only keeping my job so I could stay around certain people. That accusation cut deep because it isn't true, and I've tried explaining that to him. But it's clear now that he's been holding on to some negative feelings about my work for a long time. We don't argue often, so when something like this happens, it feels especially heavy, and the tension is more intense than usual. Lately, he's been distant and cold whenever I bring up work. He never asks me how my day went, doesn't seem interested in anything I have to say about it, and even actively checks out of the conversation when I start talking about work. Sometimes he straight up says he doesn't want to hear about it, which really stings. His detachment feels like there's a bigger issue going on beneath the surface, something he's not telling me, and it's hard to know how to fix it when he's so withdrawn. The fight that triggered all of this seemed so small and unexpected at the time. I had stopped by work to grab something, and while I was there, I ran into a few coworkers. They just happened to be there, and I figured it wouldn't hurt to catch up with them for a bit. It wasn't planned, and honestly, I thought it would be a nice, friendly gesture to chat with them outside of a work setting for once. Plus, I also ran into an old best friend, so I thought, why not take the chance to reconnect in a neutral environment? It seemed harmless at the time. In hindsight, though, I can understand why my boyfriend might have felt uncomfortable. From his perspective, it might have looked like I was intentionally hanging out with people he has concerns about, or maybe he feels insecure about the connections I have with my coworkers. But I genuinely didn't plan to see them, and I didn't think it would turn into an issue. At the time, it was a non-thought decision on my part, just something casual, but now it's spiraled into something much bigger than I expected. Since then, he's been completely ignoring me. It's been about 5 hours of silence, and for the first time in almost a year, he didn't come over to my house tonight. The fact that he didn't show up feels significant, like a silent message that something is really wrong. His silence is driving me crazy. I feel guilty for making him upset, frustrated because I don't know how to fix it, and confused about what he really wants from me. Now I'm stuck wondering if the only way to make things right is to quit my job. I love him, and I don't want this relationship to fall apart, but I'm also scared that quitting might not even solve the deeper problems we're facing. I don't know if this is really about my job or if there's something more going on that he hasn't told me. The fear of losing him is making me consider drastic measures, but at the same time, I worry that it won't be enough to actually fix things. It's just hard to know what to do when he won't talk to me about it. I don't want to make the wrong decision here, but I'm feeling lost and desperate for a way to make things better. I appreciate anyone who takes the time to read this and offer some advice because I really don't know where to go from here.